Hi guys, welcome back to another series of videos I'm going to be doing. This is for Games X. Now, not a lot of people are aware of Games X, but it was essentially a weekly games magazine which came out in April of '91, that was the first issue, and lasted for just over, or maybe it was just shy of a year. So obviously didn't do very well, but it was novel in the fact that it was a weekly magazine, and that hadn't really been done before. You're not in the gaming industry. I know there's like a business gaming magazine that kind of came out every now and again, well, every week. It might still be going. I forget what the name's called, but yeah, there was that one. But this was the first time I'd ever seen anything like this. Now, as you can see, this is, or was, the preview issue, and it was handed out in March of '91, and it was given away free with other gaming publications such as CMVG, or I guess, was Games Master even out then, maybe? ST Action, Amiga Action, Mean Machines maybe, whatever was out at the time, you know, selected magazines, it was given away free as a way to promote this upcoming weekly magazine. And I was one of these people who, you know, got this as a free issue in whatever magazine I bought at the time, and I was definitely suckered into thinking, you know, oh, that looks really good, and I started to pick games up a lot. But like I say, it wasn't a success, because it only lasted around about 1 year, and it got to the point where, you know, even I couldn't find it in my local newsagents. I could never find it in like WH Smith or anywhere like that. It was always in basically my local, literally kind of tiny newsagents. But as I say, even then it was just every now and again I'd find it. So I think there was like 50 issues altogether, and I probably only ever read, you know, back in the day, about 25 maximum. So all the others I'm only kind of reading now, you know, so it's or have been the last few years. So it wasn't a success, but it was really really ahead of its time in so many ways, as I'll try and show as the magazine review, if you like, progresses. So anyway, so on the front cover there, whoever that guy is, and they've got Betty Boo. What a legend. Betty Boo, one of my many schoolboy crushes back then. So Games X, yeah, it's a multi-format magazine, as you can see at the top there, underneath the Games X. Amiga, ST, PC, Commodore 64, console, Spectrum, and more, including handhelds and arcade features. So yeah, really ahead of its time. But it wasn't actually that much of a success, as I say. And what I'll do, and I'll touch upon this very briefly, because I'm going to include a link below with the editor of this magazine, who is called Hugh Gollner, and they touch upon in the Q&A Games X very briefly, and he says that it, you know, just wasn't a success because it cost them a lot of money, but they kept persevering with it, I guess, out of stubbornness because they wanted to make it work. But yeah, they ended up losing money, and it's not a surprise. But nostalgically, it means a lot to me. You know, I think of my paper round that I had in 1991, 1990, 91, 92 time, and you know, every Sunday when I'd finish my paper round, whenever I would see this magazine, you know, I'd buy it. So I automatically, when I think of this mag, go back to them times, and that's good memories. So anyway, anyone remember this one? Virtual reality. Check out them headsets. I mean, there's a few of these knocking around at the arcade that we used to go to, and we used to go on them from time to time. I mean, they still look quite good, to be fair. Look at that. Looks alright. But you did feel a complete knob, you know, with that thing on your head. You really did. So there we've got the Lynx. Lynx price leaps down for the second time. And apparently they're going down to £79 in April. £79 being around about $100-ish for any American viewers. But I guess the core audience I have tends to be British, I guess, for obvious reasons. So yeah, 79 quid, pretty cheap. Little contents page there, and a few little bits of information on things at the time. And here we've got like some games that were, I guess, just, you know, very small previews. Little tiny tidbits there. Danny DeVito starring as Mario. That was a dreadful movie. Lemons, what does it say about Lemons? Oh, just basically saying that ST users will get to play Lemons in April. Great. Oh, well timed. Look at that. Lemons. Brilliant game. I absolutely loved that. On the Amiga and on the ST. Just such an amazing game. Really addictive. And I'm really going to get that back on the ST or the Amiga, you know, very soon, because it's a classic game. Gallop up the charts. This is basically just, I guess, just the top 20 of what games are out on a multi-format system. On a multi-format system. Doesn't make sense. Across all formats. So the best-selling game was the Turtles. Swiv there, Lemons, Robocop 2, Golden Axe, Creatures, number 15. My friend used to absolutely love that on the Commodore 64. Kickoff 2. Little advert there, or a competition to win an Atari Lynx, your very own arcade. Supercars 2, I used to love this. This is reviewed, highlighted in red there, which means it's reviewed on the Amiga for $24.99. or it cost $24.99. They gave it 5 out of 5. I've got to be honest, it probably deserves it. It's like, think of it as an overhead view of like a Mario Kart. You know, you got your power-ups, you can shoot the enemy, you can lay like spikes and stuff on the road. A really good, fun game. And with the overhead view similar to things like, at the time, like Iron Man Off-Road Racer, and what else was the Super Sprint. And that's funny, that brings back memories, that guy there. He's holding up kind of like road signs, traffic rules and all that kind of stuff. And I remember one night I was playing this, sometime in like late 91, and it was about 10:30 at night, and my mum heard me on the computer and she was like, right, get off that, school tomorrow morning, what you playing at? And I lied, I pretended, I said, oh no, but check this out. And she looked at the screen, pointed her to these kind of screens here, and I was like, yeah, but look, it's a traffic test, and at school tomorrow we've got like a traffic test, you know, and she fell for it. So I carried on playing it for another half an hour or something, playing the game, but she was thinking that I was learning stuff for school. Ingenious. So sometimes you get these split kind of reviews, you know, 2 pages with 2 different reviews. First one up is Lotus Esprit Turbo Challenge. Got a 3 out of 5. Nothing highlighted in red, so it doesn't say, but looking at them graphics, you know, and if I know my 8-bit machines, and I do, I'd say that's a Commodore 64. Certainly not the Spectrum. So yeah, Commodore 64, 3 out of 5 for that one. Bit harsh, maybe? 4 out of 5 for Swiv on the Atari ST. Swiv, the sequel to Silkworm. Brilliant game. Really good and really pricey, you know, still goes for a lot of money on eBay. 20, 25 quid. Here we've got Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. 4 out of 5 on the Sega Master System. I've got to be honest, the Master System and the NES just do not mean anything to me at all, nostalgically. I just really couldn't give a monkeys about them. But, you know, we all like different things. Quest for Glory, which is a Sierra game, so an adventure point and click. That'd be good to go back to. That's on the PC, 3 out of 5. Oh, what's this one? Sega Mega Drive, Dick Tracy, 5 out of 5. I'm not surprised because that was a really good game. A really good game, and yeah, I absolutely loved it. I don't know if this is working, by the way, this kind of, you know, panning in and out with the camera. I was going to put it on the tripod, but I've tried this method. If it works, great. If it doesn't, then, you know, you'll have to let me know. Maybe I can just have it pointing down. But then you wouldn't always get to see all the stuff. So for now, I'll do it this way. Access to all formats. So just basically some mini reviews there that didn't get a full feature. So we've got Super Monaco Grand Prix on the Mega Drive, which got 4 out of 5. Killing Game Show on the ST. Prince of Persia there, which is on the PC. Paperboy. $29.99 on the Sega Master System. 3 out of 5. Little guide to Total Recall. Level guide to help you out. An upcoming advert for Games X saying that the first issue is going to be out on the 26th. Again, I guess you could probably read this. I don't know how well it's coming out, but you probably have to pause it unless you're the fastest reader in the world. Supercars 2. It's funny how they've done this, isn't it? Because there was a little bit of a column on Lemons, and then there was an advertisement for Lemons, and then there was a review for Supercars 2, poster for Supercars 2. Very clever. Tips page. The old favourites of pausing the game and typing in some random code and getting infinite lives. Page missing here, which is annoying, so I think maybe I or someone else took a poster out, which is a bit silly. Advertisement for Chuck Rock. Decent game, back in the day. A questionnaire. Brilliant. And then introducing the team. Quite a lot of members at the time who were working on it. Seeing as it's just a small magazine, but then again it was every week, so I guess they would have had to, you know, have quite a few people working on it. A little bit about Games X there. Everything you wanted to know. Maybe you don't want to know anything at all. I don't know. Arcade Extravaganza. So just talking about some of the games that were out at the time. There's one called Face Off. High Impact. High Impact was similar to Face Off, but High Impact being American football from memory. And some stuff there. Gallop Up the Charts, but rather than being a multi-format thing, this was for the individual computers at the time. So on the Amiga. Again, I won't really talk too much about it. You can always pause it if you want to see what was out at the time. I might mention a few if I see them, like Speedball 2 there. Panzer Kickboxing on the Amiga. Double Dragon, CPC, brilliant. Commodore 64. Spectrum. PC, and then the budget. Double Dragon top of that as well. And then this is just like a little guide to what was out at the time. So we've got the Atari ST, or the Amiga first, then the ST, Sega Master System, Atari Lynx, Sega Mega Drive, Game Boy, bit of a joystick there, and the Super Famicom, because of course the Famicom, which was the Super Nintendo, obviously, in Europe and the States. Didn't come out in the UK until about a year after this, actually. So yeah, Super Famicom. And then obviously we've got, if you wanted to read your horoscopes. How bizarre. So yeah, pros and cons. Nice little feature. Advertising budget games there. Tanglewood brings back a lot of memories. My friend's sister had that, but it was rubbish. Dr. X, a really sarcastic, very dry, humoured guy who would give, well, obviously very sort of sarcastic and witty responses. Again, ahead of its time. You didn't really get that back then. This is almost like a precursor to magazines like Loaded in a way. You know, like a very lads mag. It was very adult-orientated, very sarcastic and all the rest of it. Betty Boo, oh my god. Like I say, childhood crush. Her arm looks massive there. What's going on? Yeah, I did say arm, just in case you're wondering. A little bit of a fact on her there. 6th of March 1970. But I'm not a stalker. I don't want to know all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so you'll probably know her for songs like, you know, Doing the Do and Where Are You Baby and all that kind of stuff. And a lovely little feature here on the Bitmap Brothers, who are an amazing programming team, you know, back, well, I think they're still going, but back in the 90s, early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, they were brilliant. Bomb the Bass did the music to Xenon 2, which incidentally the music on the ST version is far superior to the Amiga. I'm not just saying that, you know, I do love my Amiga, people will know that, but I do favour the ST, but yeah, the ST is a better version. Kickoff 2 and Player Manager, Kickoff 2 Final Whistle, which I've got for the Amiga and the ST. And then this was a section, it didn't really last that long, but it was really clever. It was called Go Global, and it would talk about what music was out at the time. So whoever they are, is it 808 State? Brilliant. And it talked about the movies. Tom Hanks down there. Is that even focusing in? Probably not. Yeah, that's not. It's pretty bad. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. And then it would show a few little things which are out at the time. Does anyone remember these? These TVs with like the visor that you could obviously you put down when you're not watching it, and then when you wanted to watch it, quite obviously you put it back up again. But I remember them when they were popular. Again, I keep saying this, but you know, if you can read this, you may want to pause it and give it a good read. 250 quid. Pricey. Got the game Taboo there. Check them out. SPX trainers. Absolutely fantastic. And some of the wording which is used. Radical. Great. And what is he selling there? Oh, the jacket. Yeah, does anyone remember them big jackets? I think, what was the one I had? Was it like Capri? Was it Carpi or Capri? I can't remember. Like Illuminous, like purple and green, and oh my god. They were cool at the time, you know, but Troop is back in full effect with its new range of sports jackets. Brilliant. Only 96 quid. Oh, bargain. Unbelievable. And like I say, this is a great feature. It didn't last that long, I don't think, but occasionally it would show sweets that were out at the time and really brings back a lot of memories. But yeah, brilliant magazine of it. And then Exit, which I guess is just a letters page. I don't quite know how this differs from the other letters page that was on from that Dr. X. Maybe that Dr. X thing was just a way of getting sarcastic sort of answers. And over time, I think that the readers, you know, realised that Dr. X was cheeky and sarcastic, so then they would send in cheeky, sarcastic, stupid questions, you know, and then and he'd treat them like idiots with the answers. But it was all done very, you know, in fun, humour, and a lot of banter. It was a fun read. And it feels fresh. Like I said, it feels ahead of its time, because back then you'd have a very, you know, straight up kind of, oh, I'm thinking of getting this game, what should I get? And then they just answer it by going, oh, well, if you've got this money, get this, that, and that, you know, whereas, like I said, that Dr. X was very, very sarcastic and dry. And I suppose these were more of the serious letters, as you can see. Sneak preview, Match 91. Yeah, more of the serious letters that maybe people wanted, you know, questions asked, or questions answered, I should say. So that's that, and Mirror Image, $9.99, a few budget games, Speedball, Defender of the Crown, Rocket Ranger, Strike Force Harrier. Those two I definitely played. I'm aware of that. I'm not sure if I played that one. And then at the back, little poster for Toki. So there we go, the first issue, well, technically the preview issue of Games X, a magazine which not a lot of people are aware of, but is really good. And yeah, what I'm going to do is maybe one video a week, possibly two, possibly some weeks even more, or even less. It just depends when I get the time. But it's a great magazine, one of my favourites. Just a shame it didn't last, you know, a little bit longer, but nostalgically, it means a lot to me. And so, yeah, I'll be back with more. Thanks for watching. See you later.